Discover the amazing moment when a single dad transformed a paralyzed girl's life in just 30 days. Jake was drowning in bills, the weight of responsibility pressing down on him like a mountain. With every month that passed, his dreams of a better life for him and his teenage daughter Emma slipped further away. Ever since the accident at his workplace that left him unemployed, he had felt like he was trapped in a grinding cycle of despair. Mornings came too fast. The diner was his refuge where he worked hard, pouring coffee and wiping counters, feeling each drop of grease hit him like a reminder of his struggles. He would finish his shifts late, coming home to an empty house, the silence echoing louder than the clanging plates of the diner. One day, while rearranging chairs for the town's annual art fair, he met Lily. The first thing that struck him was her smile, wide and bright, even as her wheelchair quietly rolled through the bustling crowd. She was painting on her easel, strokes of vibrant color contrasting against the dull gray sky. Moments before, he had seen so many children rush past her, not noticing, but there she was, creating magic where others saw an inconvenience. It pulled at something deep inside him, feeling a connection to her resilience. He knew struggle. He saw so much of himself in her fierce expression as she blended colors, glimmers of hope hidden in her eyes. "Wow, you're really good," he said, walking over with a tentative smile. Her face beamed as she turned toward him. The way she spoke, her passion for art spilling out like the paint on her brush, ignited something inside Jake, a spark of joy that had dulled long ago. They exchanged stories, and she opened up about feeling separate from the world because of her disabilities. In that moment, he saw not just a girl in a wheelchair, but an artist whose spirit soared beyond her circumstances. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days turned into weeks, and Jake dedicated his evenings to helping Lily find new techniques, painting hand in hand. Each splash of paint became a balm for both their souls. He encouraged her whenever the shadows of self-doubt crept in, reminding her of her talent and strength. It felt good to have purpose again outside of caring for Emma. He had someone to help, and his heart swelled watching Lily blossom. But whispers of judgment soon emerged around the town. Murmurs questioned whether Jake, a single father with his own struggles, could truly uplift someone like Lily. It made his chest tighten with fear. Just as his bond with Lily grew, the stakes rose with a local charity competition that could change their lives. Should he risk using Lily's talent to gain help for both their families? Or should he prioritize Emma, keeping this extraordinary journey with Lily at arm's length? Caught in this swirling storm, tragedy struck like a bolt of thunder. Whatever he chose, Jake knew he faced long-held prejudices, and the fight against despair was only just beginning. Would he find the courage to challenge what weighed heavily upon him? The stakes had never been higher, leaving their dreams hanging in the balance. The artwork blossomed all around them, vivid colors splashed against the dull town square. Jake found himself captivated every time he watched Lily paint, lost in the rhythm of her brush strokes. It was more than just the colors. It was the emotion that flowed from her. The more he saw her create, the more he realized the gravity of their situation. The upcoming charity competition felt like a double-edged sword. On one side, it offered hope, and on the other, it was a potential disaster waiting to happen. As if reading his thoughts, Lily looked up one afternoon, her paint-stained fingers still grasping her brush. "Are you okay, Jake?" she asked, concern shadowing her bright smile. Her voice had the ability to cut through his worries like a knife. "Yeah, just thinking," he replied, forcing a smile. He wanted to tell her everything, but how could he, when he wasn't sure himself? The whispers were growing louder in town, and that pressure felt like an iron weight across his chest. "About the competition?" she prompted, her eyes narrowing slightly. "Something like that," he breathed out, pulling away from the easel where they had been working side by side. "It could change things for us, for Emma, for you." He tried to keep the tremor out of his voice. Lily paused, studying him with an intensity that made his breath catch. You think I'm just a project? Her question hung in the air, and he felt the world around them still. No, of course not, Lily. You mean so much more than that to me. You inspire me, he rushed to defend. The thought of being perceived as an opportunist twisted in his gut like a thorn. You should tell Emma that, she smiled then, briefly, but the lingering doubt in her eyes remained. The truth gnawed at him. Could he really do this? Could he enter the competition with Lily's talent, her gift, in a bid to help their families? It was an emotional mess waiting to unravel. Each time he thought of entering, the image of Emma's face twisted in disappointment flashed in his mind. He couldn't let it break the bond he shared with her. That weekend, Jake took Emma to the fair. The sun bathed the town in warmth, and colorful banners danced in the breeze, but beneath the vibrant hustle, tension built as he approached Lily's booth. The charity competition loomed, and Jake felt a stirring in his chest, a mix of excitement and dread. Look, Dad! Emma exclaimed, pulling him toward a painting that caught her eye. It was one of Lily's pieces, a breathtaking scene of an expansive sky giving way to a horizon streaked with pink and orange. For a moment, Jake forgot everything else. This is amazing, Emma said, and Jake could see her genuine admiration. The realization struck him: Lily's artistry had the power to connect, to inspire, and it ignited a small flicker of hope in him. Lily did it, he replied, feeling a smile creep onto his face. Maybe we should ask her to do more paintings, Emma suggested, her eyes wide with enthusiasm. As Jake opened his mouth to answer, a familiar voice cut through the laughter of the fair. It was one of his old colleagues, sly and enigmatic, walking toward them. I didn't expect to see you here, Jake. Shouldn't you be focused on raising your daughter? The biting words hit him like cold water. Jake felt the heat rise in his cheeks, and the world around him faded momentarily as he wrestled with the weight of judgment mixed with his desire to protect both Lily and Emma. Could he prove everyone wrong? Was it possible to stand up against the prejudices that chained them all? The future seemed delicate, hanging by a thread, and as he looked at Emma and then at Lily, the stakes continued to rise. The next decision could change everything. Jake took a deep breath and asked himself, what am I willing to fight for? The air crackled with tension as Jake's colleague's words lingered in the space between them. Emma, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing, tugged at his sleeve, her eyes sparkling with the colors of Lily's art. He didn't want to ruin this moment for her. Hey, let us go check out more booths, Jake said quickly, forcing a smile as he turned from the man, who smirked, clearly delighted to have pushed a button. The laughter and excitement of the fair all but drowned out Jake's internal conflicts, but as he glanced back at Lily, her brow was furrowed, concern etched on her face. Are you all right? She mouthed silently, and he nodded, though he was far from okay. The competition loomed large, but so did the piercing judgment he felt from his past. When they moved on, Emma was drawn into another booth, a place filled with handmade crafts. Jake stood back for a moment, taking in the scene. Families were laughing, children were running, and the vibrant colors around him felt both beautiful and overwhelming. As he leaned against a wooden rail, he felt a warm presence beside him. It was Lily again, her paint-covered fingers now resting on the upturned edge of the rail. He was out of line, she said, her voice a gentle murmur, tinted with fierce empathy. Jake sighed, the weight of her words soothing him just slightly. It doesn't matter what he thinks. This is about Emma, he replied, gesturing towards his daughter, who was now engrossed in choosing between a wooden horse and a glittery unicorn. I just need to make sure she's okay. Then maybe say it out loud, Lily suggested, a spark of defiance in her tone. You can't just carry everything inside you. It's not fair to you. She was right. It felt unfair, like walking a tightrope with no safety net. But saying it was a different thing entirely. Could he admit he wanted to win the competition? That he wanted to use her talent to help? It felt like a betrayal toward Emma, toward his responsibilities, and toward himself. With a rush of determination, he turned fully to Lily. I don't want to hurt anyone. But if we can help our families, shouldn't we? Lily's gaze softened, and he saw the flicker of hope across her face. We could do something amazing. But it has to be for the right reasons, Jake. Not just because we feel obligated. In that moment, clarity washed over him. This wasn't just about art or competition. It was about creating a bridge, a way for them all to come together. The thought lit a fire in his chest. But then, as if to twist the knife, he heard the voice of his colleague again, echoing in his mind, shouldn't you be focused on raising your daughter? It was like a warning siren blaring through his thoughts. Could he really juggle everything? Suddenly, Emma was back, clutching her treasures like trophies. Look, Dad! I want to show Lily! As Emma dragged them both toward the chaos of the crowd, Jake felt the weight of his decisions widen. The stakes had changed. What if it all falls apart? He whispered to Lily as they walked, feeling the gravity of his question pulse between them. Then we'll rebuild it, she replied confidently, and he marveled at her resolve. Was he really ready for what this meant? Tenderness flickered in his heart. As laughter rang out, the sun dipped lower, casting a golden hue over the fair. He realized he was standing at a crossroads, a decision that would shape everything. Whatever came next, he felt the thrill of uncertainty pump through him. But deep down, Jake knew this was just the beginning. As they moved toward the vibrant chaos, a new thought swirled in his mind: what happens when the fight for love clashes with the ghost of doubt? The moment Emma tugged their hands, she was all smiles, her excitement pulling Jake from his thoughts. The crafts booth buzzed with life, colorful creations catching their attention. Jake tried to shake off the dark cloud hovering in his mind, reminding himself to focus on Emma's joy. She pushed the wooden horse into his hands, her eyes sparkling with the kind of belief children hold so pure. "Isn't he perfect?" she chirped. "Yeah," Jake said, forcing enthusiasm into his tone. "He has something special." He glanced quickly at Lily, who stood back, a smile creeping onto her face as she watched the interaction. But the reality tugged at him. Each moment of laughter felt more like a countdown. The competition, looming with sharp edges, threatened to overshadow what truly mattered. "Daddy? Can we get him?" Emma's voice sliced through his thoughts like a sunbeam breaking through clouds. He hesitated, weighing the desires of his daughter against his growing anxiety. "What about the unicorn?" Emma shook her head vigorously. "The horse is better. He looks brave." And so he was a simple wooden horse that seemed to embody everything Jake wanted to be for his daughter. Bravery got tangled with fear, creating a knot in his stomach. "Okay, let us get him. We'll talk about the unicorn later." They moved to the vendor, and as Jake fished out cash from his pocket, he caught Lily's eye again. "You know Emma's going to want to take this everywhere," he joked lightly, trying to mask the undertones of doubt still swimming in his head. "I don't think that's a bad thing." She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "The more she loves something, the more she'll create memories. Besides, it's a reminder of today." Jake nodded, the weight of her words sparking something within him. As the vendor handed over the horse, he felt the smallest flicker of hope and resolve rekindling. "So, what's next?" Emma asked, cradling her new prize as they stepped back into the lively blur of the fair. The question hung in the air. Jake had a choice, a path unfurling before him like a map waiting to be drawn. "How about we find some food? Then maybe we check out the art section?" "Yay! I want cotton candy!" Emma shouted, and her delight was contagious. Jake felt a smile break across his face despite the invocation of doubt that always clung to him. As they walked through the maze of booths, Jake held on to the moment. He breathed in the sweet sense of treats and the sounds of joy dancing around them. With every step, he reminded himself of Lily's words and Emma's innocence. "Are you okay?" Lily asked softly, matching Jake's pace. "Honestly? I want to do something that matters. For Emma, for us." He glanced down at his daughter, who was now spinning in circles, laughing freely. "But what if I let everyone down?" "Then don't. Just focus on what matters. You have a chance to be more than your fears. You can be her hero." Her belief stung in a good way, reminding him of the power of connection and determination. Suddenly, Emma stopped, her eyes wide, fixating on a watercolor painting hanging at one of the booths. "Dad! Look! That one! It's magical!" Jake's heart tugged. The painting was filled with vibrant swirls and galaxies. It reminded him of the potential that lay just beyond their grasp, the kind of potential he wished to nurture for Emma. "Let us go check it out," he said, feeling a warmth bolster his spirit. As they approached the painting, Jake felt something shift inside him like the calm before a storm. It caused a flutter of excitement, merging with his fear. What if nurturing Emma's passions opened new doors for both of them? Could the art create bonds they hadn't yet imagined? The echoes of laughter surrounding them faded, leaving just the three of them, suspended in a moment heavy with promise. And as they much closer to that enchanting piece of artwork, Jake realized that uncertain paths often led to the most beautiful destinations. But was he brave enough to take the next step? As they drew closer to the watercolor painting, Jake's heart raced. Each brushstroke seemed to leap from the canvas, inviting them into a world of vibrant colors and emotions. It felt like a portal to the dreams he wished to protect for Emma. "Look at the colors, Dad. They're so bright," Emma exclaimed, her tiny fingers reaching out towards the painting as if she could touch the magic woven within the swirls. Lily's eyes sparkled as she studied Emma's wonder. "See how the artist captured the light? It's like the universe is right there, waiting for you. Can I paint something like that someday, Dad?" Emma's voice was filled with awe, and a flicker of hope sparked in Jake's chest. "Every artist starts somewhere," he replied, his confidence slowly taking root. "We can get you some watercolors when we get home." Emma beamed, her excitement infectious as she twirled around, the wooden horse swinging from her other hand. In that moment, Jake felt the grip of anxiety loosen just a bit. "What do you think, Lily?" he asked, turning toward her, wanting her perspective. "Could we really make this happen?" Lily smiled gently, encouragement pouring from her gaze. "Absolutely. The most important thing is to let her explore her interests. Who knows what she'll discover?" They stood before the painting, and in that intimate space, the worries that had plagued Jake faded into the background. Art wasn't just about color and form, it was a chance for Emma to express herself, to navigate her feelings in a world that often felt overwhelming. "Let us get closer," Jake suggested, taking a few steps forward. As he peered at the details, he felt a wave of inspiration wash over him. This painting represented dreams, fears, and the kind of bravery he was beginning to understand was necessary to pursue whatever lay ahead. Just then, Emma grabbed his hand, and the warmth of her little fingers filled him with comfort. "Dad, what if I made my own universe with my painting?" Jake chuckled softly at the thought, so pure and untainted. "I think you can. You can create whatever you want," he encouraged, holding Emma's gaze. "And your universe can be whatever you imagine it to be. But what if it's not as good as this one?" Her brow furrowed slightly. "Then it's not about being good," he said, feeling the right words emerge as if they were guided. "It's about what the art means to you. If it comes from your heart, it's already perfect." Emma smiled again, her face lighting up with a renewed confidence. "Yeah. I'll make it perfect." Just then, a woman approached, her eyes drawn to the same painting. "Isn't it beautiful?" she chimed in, her voice warm. "It reminds me that there's so much more to life when we look closely." Jake nodded, feeling a camaraderie with this stranger who understood the weight of those vibrant colors. Emma looked up at Jake, eyes sparkling with new ideas. "Can we make paintings that look like this, Daddy? A rainbow horse?" "Of course. A rainbow anything." Jake grinned, feeling bolder with each passing second. Lily took a step back, watching as Emma's excitement ignited Jake's spirit. "I think this is just the beginning," she said softly, her voice almost a whisper. And in that moment, Jake's doubts flickered, like shadows chased away by bright daylight. He realized he was no longer just a bystander in his daughter's life. He could be her inspiration, just as she was his. Suddenly, Emma turned, her face a picture of determination. "Dad, I want to paint right now." Jake's heart raced. Could they actually do that today? The thought sent a rush of adrenaline through him. Let us find a few supplies, he exclaimed, a newfound enthusiasm pouring from him. But as they moved away from the painting, a group of kids raced by, laughter echoing in the air, momentarily distracting Jake. He felt a hint of longing, a reminder of days past, and what he could still offer Emma. Could he balance parenting and personal fears as they ventured into this new chapter? Just as he pondered the question, Lily squeezed his arm lightly, as if sensing his thoughts. You're doing great, you know. Follow her. Led. And with that, Jake took a deep breath, ready to embrace the unknown. Little did he know, this new journey was about to change everything for them in ways he never anticipated. The sun hung low, casting a soft, golden hue over the art store as they stepped inside. The smell of paint flooded Jake's senses, and the sound of brushes against canvas filled the air. Every aisle was a kaleidoscope of colors, paints, canvases, and art supplies that whispered promises of creativity. Emma's eyes widened, taking in the wonder around her. Look, Dad! Look at all the colors! She pulled him forward, her small, eager feet skimming over the floor. Jake felt his heart swell with warmth. It was here, among all this art, that he could help Emma build something beautiful. Okay, kiddo, what do we need? He asked, crouching beside her. With careful consideration, she picked out vibrant tubes of paint, pinks, blues, and yellows. I want this one for my rainbow horse, she announced, holding up a sunny yellow. Jake couldn't help but chuckle. The happiness in her voice made every worry feel distant. All right. Let us grab some brushes and a canvas, he said, his voice lighter as he squeezed her hand. He felt a sense of urgency to make this moment count, to dig deep and let their creative spirits soar. Can I pick a big one? Emma asked, her eyes sparkling with ambition. Jake nodded, thinking about how large canvas could fill so many dreams. Absolutely. The bigger, the better. Lily watched them, a soft smile on her lips. The way Jake interacted with Emma brought back memories of all the times he had been a rock in turbulent waters. This moment was shifting something inside him, filling him with resolve. They gathered their supplies, the checkout counter buzzing with life as other customers made their own artistic selections. Jake paid, a smile never leaving his face as Emma bounced on her toes, her excitement palpable. Can we paint at home now, please? Yep. Let us get back and make that universe of yours, he said, ruffling her hair affectionately. Back at home, the kitchen table became their studio. They laid out the supplies, the colorful tubes of paint gleaming under the light. Emma looked at the canvas as though she were staring at a blank page of endless possibilities. Dad, how do I do this? Jake took a deep breath, recalling the encouragement he himself had received at a time when he needed it most. Just let your imagination lead you. Start with what's in your heart. Remember, this is your universe. Emma picked up a brush, dipping it into the yellow paint. The first stroke was cautious, but then it flowed bold and bright, just like her spirit. Jake felt an eruption of pride. Every dip of that brush sent a wave of excitement through him. He joined in, his brush dancing across the canvas to create a wild green field. They painted side by side, laughing, sharing stories, and creating an oasis of creativity right there at home. Emma's rainbow horse was slowly coming to life, each color more vivid than the last. You're doing amazing, sweetheart. Jake cheered, noticing how engrossed she was. It was a moment of pure connection, the kind that solidified strong bonds of father and daughter lost in the magic of creation. But as Emma painted, a thought started to nag at Jake. Could he keep this alive? The arts, the exploration, the support? He wanted to offer her a future filled with imagination and dreams, but doubts lingered. What if he faltered? What would she need from him? Do you think I can really help you with this? Jake asked suddenly, the weight of his responsibilities pressing against him. Emma paused, her brush hovering mid-stroke. Of course, Dad. You're my best helper. Her words ignited a flicker of courage within him. He realized maybe it wasn't just about supplying paint and brushes. It was about being present, being brave in the chaos, and believing in the journey ahead. As their masterpiece began to take shape, just outside the window, dark clouds gathered ominously in the sky. The first raindrop thudded against the glass, a prelude to a storm that threatened to bring change. Jake glanced at Emma, her intense focus contrasting sharply with the darkening world outside. What would happen when that storm hit? Would it tear them apart or help them grow even stronger? Just as he pondered, a clap of thunder shook the house, startling them both. Emma giggled, clutching her brush as if it were a magic wand. "It's okay, Dad. We can paint through the storm." Jake smiled, pulling her closer. "You're right. Let us show that storm what art can do." With determination in his heart, he lifted a paintbrush again, ready to dive deeper into this colorful journey. But as the storm rolled in and the rain began to pour, a new question loomed in his mind. Would they emerge stronger together, or would the storm reveal fractures they hadn't prepared for? The storm intensified, wind lashing against the windows, but inside their little haven, Jake and Emma were locked in their own colorful world. Each brushstroke seemed to channel the distant thunder, vibrant and alive. "Look, Dad! My horse needs a tail," Emma declared, mixing shades of blue and purple. Her laughter masked the rolling thunder outside, and for a little while, that chaos felt far away. Jake stepped back to survey the canvas, pleased with how their universe had grown so vividly. "I think it's perfect," he said, heart swelling with pride. The canvas brimming with colors was not just a painting, it was their bond, splashed across a wild expanse of possibilities. But just as he began to relax, a louder rumble broke through, shaking the house in a way that felt almost personal. The lights flickered, and for a heartbeat, the room succumbed to the faintest shadow of fear. Emma's expression shifted, her strokes becoming erratic. "What if it gets bad, Dad?" Jake knelt beside her, urgency flaring in his chest. "Hey, it's okay. The storm can't reach us here. We've got each other, right?" he reassured, though the tremor in his voice betrayed his own concerns. Emma looked up, eyes wide. "Will we be okay?" "Always," he promised, knowing that keeping her safe was his highest priority. He glanced out the window at the rising winds, dark clouds gathering like thick curtains around their little sanctuary. The storm felt monumental, somehow larger than the triviality of his worries. The rain began to pelt the roof, creating a symphony of sound that enveloped them. "Let us paint the storm," Emma shouted, newfound enthusiasm radiating from her. "We can make it colorful." Jake laughed, invigorated by her spirit. "Why not? Let us give it a rainbow." He dipped his brush into the bright red paint, splashing it where dark gray had once reigned. "Just like your horse." Emma giggled, grabbing up greens and blues with abandon, her fears drowned out by creativity. They erupted into a frenzy of laughter and color, each stroke pushing back against the storm. As the winds howled and thunder cracked, they began to unwind the tension within together. With every brush from Jake and Emma, the storm outside didn't seem as threatening. It transformed into a feisty backdrop for their creation. The once fearful noise became a rhythm for crafting a shared dream, turning their kitchen into an art studio and a bustling shelter against the tempest. "See? The storm makes everything more exciting," Emma exclaimed, her innocence shining through the tempest. She was right. Amid the chaos, their anxiety diminished, overshadowed by creativity and laughter. This chaotic storm served as a metaphor for their life. They may never have all the answers, but they could paint through it all. As Jake looked at the canvas, a sudden idea sparked in his mind. What if, instead of a horse, your rainbow is also a world where everyone can paint together? It doesn't have to be just you. Emma's eyes gleamed with possibility. Yes. Everyone should paint together. Just then, a flash of lightning illuminated the room. In that brief moment, Jake caught a glimpse of the shadows creeping at the edges of his mind, the doubts, the fears. But they crumbled away, just as the bright colors splashed across their canvas began to fill the space with hope. "Dad, can we add friends too?" Emma asked excitedly, her imagination igniting once more. "Of course! Why not a park filled with painters? Everyone contributing to happiness?" As they painted on, bound by shared dreams and vibrant colors, those shadows began to dissipate. Jake started to believe in the kind of future he wanted to create for Emma. But just as the colors blossomed, a crash from outside startled them again. This time it wasn't thunder. It was a sound Jake hadn't heard in a while: broken glass. Jake's heart dropped. What was that? Emma looked up, the joy fading from her eyes. The storm was more than they had bargained for. As Jake hurried to the window, his heart raced. What awaited them on the other side of the storm? Would this moment of creativity shield them from what was coming, or would it fracture the world they had just begun to rebuild? Jake pressed his forehead against the cold glass of the window, squinting through the sheets of rain. The world outside had shifted. What had once been a familiar neighborhood now teetered on the edge of chaos. Shattered glass crunched beneath his feet every time he shifted his weight away from Emma. "Stay close, sweetheart," he called over the howling wind. Emma clutched her paintbrush like a lifeline, the colors on the canvas now reflecting her unease. Just then, another crash resounded, louder this time. Heart pounding, he pulled the curtain aside, and what he saw sent a chill down his spine. A tree had fallen, its mighty trunk blocking their driveway. For a moment, he felt lost between fear for their safety and the instinct to shield Emma from this unexpected world. "Dad? What's happening?" Emma whispered, her voice tiny amid the storm's roar. Taking a deep breath, Jake turned back to her. "Just a fallen tree, honey. Nothing we can't handle. Remember, we're safe inside." But the doubt lingered in the air between them, heavier than the storm. He saw it in her wide eyes, the very same fear he felt echoing in his chest. It was moments like these that reminded him just how fragile their reality could feel. He forced a comforting smile, even as the winds howled louder, a desperate attempt to keep hope alive. "Why don't we add that tree to our painting?" he suggested, flicking paintbrushes in the direction of their vibrant canvas. "A majestic oak, right outside our window, all colorful and happy." Emma tilted her head, unsure. "You think it will make the storm go away?" Her question struck him. Could they really change the overwhelming reality just by splashing colors over it? "Maybe not the storm outside," he replied, "but we can always brighten our heart. So how about you paint it, Emma? You've got the colors." With a slow nod, Emma turned back to her canvas. As she added swirls of green and brown, Jake felt a small spark of hope in the air. She needed him to believe in their colors, in a world where they could create joy from despair. He returned to the window, scanning for anything else that might have broken. When he saw it, a figure struggling against the raging winds. It was hard to tell, but there was definitely someone outside. Panic rushed through him. Who would be out in the storm? Emma? "Stay here, okay?" He hesitated for only a second but felt the weight of responsibility urging him toward the front door. "Dad, don't go." Emma's voice climbed the urgency scale. "I'll be right back," he reassured her as he stepped into the storm's fury, each gust pushing against him like powerful hands. As he reached the door, flashes of lightning illuminated the figure again. It was a neighbor, someone he hadn't spoken to much before. They seemed to be in distress. "Mr. Johnson!" Jake shouted over the storm. The man turned, and Jake's heart twisted. He was struggling to right an upturned wheelbarrow, the wind whipping around him viciously. Jake lunged toward him, realizing the urgency the man might need help. "Let me give you a hand!" Jake shouted, bracing himself for the onslaught of wind and rain. Together, they managed to right the wheelbarrow, but in the split moment of relief, Jake felt something change in the air. Was it the storm still raging or the new shadows creeping unexpectedly into their home? As they worked together, Jake couldn't help but wonder what else might be waiting in the storm. Would this small act of kindness give Emma and him hope when they returned together? He turned his head, glancing back toward the house, where he could still see Emma's little hands moving, painting away. A part of him wished he could be sheltering her still, yet a sense of purpose swelled within him. But a sudden roar from the skies, mixed with another splintering crack of sound, pulled him back to focus. What other challenges were lurking in the shadows of this storm? And would his bond with Emma grow even stronger amid the chaos? The wind whipped around Jake like a fierce living thing, biting at his skin, but he ignored the cold, sweat forming on his brow as urgency pushed him forward. Mr. Johnson's breath came in ragged gasps, a mix of exhaustion and relief flooding his face as he thanked Jake again and again. "It's just the wheelbarrow, Jake," he said, the weight of the world etched in his features. "I didn't want it to end up in the neighbor's yard. It's all I have left, just me and this old place." Jake's heart ached. It wasn't just a storm that threatened homes, but the loneliness that often came with it. He thought of Emma back in their warm house, safe yet alone in her own way. "Let us get you back inside," Jake urged, looking around to ensure the storm wasn't giving up its fury any time soon. He pushed against the wind, signaling Mr. Johnson to follow, and they made their way toward the neighbor's house in a zigzag pattern. The rain splashed hard against their shoulders, and Jake stole quick glances back at their home to reassure himself that Emma was still painting a splash of color in a somber world. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the air, and Jake froze, heart dropping. Above them, branches twisted like angry fingers, and with another boom, the power flickered before plunging their homes into darkness. "No! Emma?" he screamed, rushing toward the sound of howling wind and the ominous snap of wood. "Jake! Wait!" Mr. Johnson called out, trying to keep up, but Jake was already in motion, fueled by fear and urgency like a fire raging in his chest. He burst through their front door, bracing himself against the wind that whipped in behind him. The living room was dark, only lit by the faint glow of the streetlights outside breaking the curtain of rain. "Emma?" he shouted, panic lacing his voice. "Dad?" Her voice trembled, small and distant. "Where are you?" He strained to see, but shadows cloaked corners, and the storm's roar drowned out everything. "Stay where you are." "I can't see." The lights went out. He rushed toward the sound, pushing back the fear gnawing at him as he waved his hands, finally feeling her small body. "I've got you," he breathed, wrapping his arms around her. In that moment, everything else faded: the thunder, the fear, the chaos. It was just Jake and Emma, together against the storm. "I was scared, Dad," she whispered, clinging to him as the rain continued its ceaseless pounding against the roof. I know, but we're together." He held her tighter, feeling her little body shake. "I'll always keep you safe." Jake's heart raced, and a thought struck him. They had paint. They had creativity. "Emma, do you remember what we said? We can brighten our hearts, even in the darkest times. Let us paint, even now." "What? In the dark?" She pulled back enough to focus on his face, confusion laying between them. "Let us make shadows dance. Use your hands, your imagination. Keep splashing those colors on that canvas, even if we can't see them right now." He fumbled for the flashlight, grateful when a beam burst to life. "See? We can light our way." He turned to the canvas. "Let us bring the storm inside, girl. Let us paint it to make it ours." Her eyes widened, and she grasped the paintbrush with newfound determination. "Okay. I want it to be big and loud and colorful." As they began to paint together, Jake marveled at how the act of creation filled the space with warmth, banishing the fear lurking in corners. Sweeping strokes filled the canvas, turning their anxiety into a myriad of colors, each bright hue a form of resistance against the darkness outside. But as their laughter bubbled amid the storm, Jake's mind couldn't shake off the feeling that this was just the beginning. There were still shadows waiting out their dangers hidden in the storm. What were they? Would they challenge the bond he and Emma were forging with every stroke of paint? With the storm rattling the frame of their home, Jake wondered, could their creativity truly shield them from the storms, both outside and in the heart? The storm raged outside, each thunderclap a reminder that chaos often lurked in unexpected places. But inside, something beautiful was unfolding amidst the chaos. Jake and Emma, now wrapped in the cocoon of shared creativity, painted their fears away. Streaks of color flew across the canvas: bold reds, vibrant blues, soft yellows, each stroke a testament to their resilience. "Look, Dad! The sky is becoming a rainbow!" Emma exclaimed, her bright eyes shining even in the dim light. In that moment, Jake knew he was witnessing something extraordinary. The chaos outside was no match for the vibrant world they were creating together inside those four walls. Each time a bolt of lightning flashed through the windows, it illuminated their creation a fierce, swirling storm filled with laughter and dreams. The canvas was alive, echoing the bond they shared. It was a reminder that while storms come, so do moments of brightness. Suddenly, there was a loud crash nearby, causing the canvas to tremble as fear flickered in Emma's eyes. "Dad, what was that?" she whispered, her voice barely audible against the storm's howl. "It's okay, Emma. Just some branches, nothing we can't handle," he reassured her, pulling her close. "Remember, storms can't break us if we stand together." He held her tight, steady and strong. With renewed determination, they continued their masterpiece, pouring their hearts into their artwork. "Can we add a son, Dad?" Emma suggested, her small voice filling the room with hope. "Absolutely," Jake smiled, feeling a surge of pride. "A bright sun to shine through our storm." With that, they began painting the sun, golden rays bursting through clouds, as if illuminating their very souls. The storm became something new, transformed by their creativity and love. As Jake dipped the brush into the bright yellow paint, he felt an unfamiliar sense of clarity. He wasn't just painting a storm, he was crafting a future. A future where Emma could explore her creativity without outgrowing it, where they could face challenges together, hand in hand. With every stroke, the shadows haunting him melted away, replaced by the realization that he had the power to protect his daughter and nurture her passions. Their painting transformed into a symbol of hope, a testament to their unbreakable bond. Outside, the storm raged on, but in their bubble of color and laughter, it truly felt like the world was theirs. And then there it was, a soft knock at the door. Startled, Jake looked down at Emma, unsure if they should answer. The chaos of the storm had overshadowed the worries of the outside world, but now curiosity crept in. "Stay here, okay?" As he moved to answer, Jake felt a mixture of fear and responsibility tightening his chest once more. He opened the door just a crack, and standing there, drenched but smiling, was Mr. Johnson and a couple of other neighbors. "Help!" Mr. Johnson exclaimed. "We need everyone out helping, it's not just one tree. The community is pulling together." "Of course. Let me call Emma," Jake said, excitement flooding his heart. Moments later, Emma zipped past him, eager to take her place among the shifting storm of humanity. As Jake and Emma stepped out into the wild weather, he felt a thrum of solidarity. They rushed toward the gathering crowd, Jake holding tightly to Emma's hand. The community fought side by side, cutting branches, clearing debris, and lending a hand to those in need. For every drop that fell, there were laughter and camaraderie bursting forth. Despite the overwhelming storm, Jake had never witnessed anything more beautiful. Emma's laughter lit up the day as she helped others, painting the world with her spirit, a rainbow sequined among the gray. Jake realized then that this was indeed the moment they had been waiting for: transformation. They could effect change, not just for themselves but for those around them. The storm washed away old fears, unveiling new possibilities. Each neighbor came together, proving that adversity couldn't dim their light. Families who weren't close became allies in this vibrant uprising against despair. And as the rains began to ease, Jake turned to Emma, her rainbow horse and shining sun still fresh in his mind. "We did it, kiddo. We turned that storm into something wonderful." Emma beamed up at him. "Yeah. Just like we painted." In that moment, Jake felt a wash of joy and peace fill his heart. They had fought the storm to emerge stronger, together. Leaving behind that day was an understanding the essence of community, love, and resilience. As they returned home, sun breaking through the clouds, Jake glanced over at Emma and felt tears of joy prick at his eyes. "Let us keep painting, Emma. You and me, together." "What if we paint the world, Dad?" she replied, and at that moment, Jake knew that was not only her dream but also his. They rushed back inside and faced the now dry canvas, ready for the next chapter, filled with colors of hope and endless possibilities. "Let us make a painting everybody can join," he said, feeling euphoric and brave. He understood fully now. Storms may come, but as long as they were together, art as a bridge to connection would always remain. Now, It's your turn. You need to subscribe now to catch the incredible journeys awaiting you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and each story's possibility. Comment your thoughts, your feelings, and the beauty of transformation you witnessed. Share instantly this story with at least 5 friends who need to feel the warmth of community and creativity. Don't wait not even one more second. This is the moment to show your support.